Hey everybody, it's John here. I just want to introduce you to Maria, who is a 51-year-old patient with thalassemia and a friend of mine. And I was able to edit this video of a recording we did last Friday and make it a little more presentable to you guys and a little more concise.
So everything's going good with you?
Everything's going good. I mean, gosh, there's some bad things that happened
Oh, really? I said,
between between my healthcare practitioner, like really shitty stuff. Really
between
bad.
what?
My doctor and I,
Oh, really?
like unbelievable.
Hmm.
I'll tell you that I can't put out there. I'll tell you another
Oh, right,
time.
right. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Your
We don't have to
mouth
discuss
will
that.
fall on the floor when I tell you the things that he said to me.
Hmm.
It's just you're supposed to be a professional, right? You're
Right.
supposed to do no harm, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, it's just really bad stuff.
I'm sorry to hear that's, it's awful. That's kind of why I want to do this channel, so get information out there and bring awareness to what we're going through as patients, especially older patients. So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm hearing now from several patients that they're not getting properly transfused, and doctors want to keep their hemoglobins low. I'm like, what are we in 1970? Or like, are you
right,
with all freaking research there is out there on how amazing it is to be on high hemoglobin?
right. And
And
you saw that video I made. I pointed that out.
yeah, and now you want to bring us back down to 10, 9, even an 8. A
Right.
patient told me, her hematologist said, I won't transfuse you until you are under 8.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
ridiculous.
sevens.
Hmm. And part of that whole reason is why I want to do gene therapy, so I don't have to deal with any of. I mean, I have it good right now with my physician; everything's going well.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to deal with that down the road if I move or do. I just
Yeah. It's
we're getting
freedom, right? I feel
right.
so bound to my hospital and blood supply and, donors, right? And donors being ethical, right? I mean,
Hmm.
I don't want people who just got tattooed to go donate blood. And
Hmm.
what was it? The CDC or the NIH, one of them took the deferments away. It's like, no, I don't know if the tattoo parlor is up to health codes. I don't
Hmm.
know if the tattoo parlor is trying to save money on needles, right? And is
Right.
sharing the needles.
Hmm.
So, let me turn off my phone. Sorry. So, yeah, no, there should be a 6-month deferment on everyone who gets tattoos.
Hmm.
But it's like a free for all. Oh, everybody could donate. Oh, inclusion. We have to include everybody. No, you don't have to
Right.
include everybody.
Right. I get it. I totally
Did you
get it.
ask people with Cooley's anemia and sickle cell disease if we're happy about that? Because we are the largest consumers of blood, right?
Hmm.
Did they
Yeah,
ask
we
us?
don't get much say in anything. So,
I know. We're the biggest end user, and they
hmm.
don't include us in the decision making.
Right. So.
Unbelievable.
Right. How about I have about 30 minutes because I don't have the pro Zoom, so I have 30 minutes that I can
That's
ask you
fine.
some
Yeah.
questions. So I
Yeah.
figured, we're
Let's
getting
go
the
through
patients
them. Yeah.
together and talk about your history and stuff like that. So like
Sure.
so I have Maria here. Maria, how old are you? Do you mind sharing your age?
51
Okay, awesome. All right. And when were you diagnosed with thalassemia?
and a half years old.
2.5?
Hmm.
Good. Okay. And what happened? How did they discover
I
it?
was in Cyprus. That's where we were living. And I was getting like very ill, jaundice, missing my toddler milestones, agitated, crying. I was in pain.
Hmm.
And my
Right.
mom was taking me, we, come from a very small village in Cyprus, and my mom was taking me from like village doctor to village doctor, and they're like, oh, she's anemic, give her calves liver to eat. So then a good friend of the family from the village, Dr. Michael, Angastiniotis, and he's the medical advisor to Thalassemia International Federation, came to the village and said to my mom, just by looking at Maria, I can tell you that she has thalassemia, and you need to get her to a hospital right away and get her transfused.
Right.
And we went to the hospital. It was a city at that time before the illegal invasion of Turkey, called Amohostos. Now it's occupied, and it's called Famagusta. And, my mom didn't like what she saw. So we went back to the village. She called up my dad and said, Maria has a fatal, because it was fatal back then,
Right.
blood disease, and we need to leave Cyprus and come back to New York. So my dad came, packed us all up, and we went back to New York. And I was formally diagnosed at New York Hospital with intermediate, not major. But I should have just been diagnosed with major, because I depend on blood. Like, I
Right.
am so symptomatic to even a 10.7 hemoglobin, my bone marrow, because I had EMH, extramedullary hematopoiesis, is so exasperated, and
Hmm.
it kills me. Like, my brain feels like mush, my bones hurt, even my jaw hurts, like I'm
Hmm.
10.7, not
Right.
even like in the nines. Like, there's some intermediates that can be in the nines and they function well. I'm not that.
Right. Yeah,
We're
it's
not,
hard.
we're individual. We're not cookie cutter. You can't say, okay, intermediates, your baseline is 9. Okay, majors, your baseline is 10. It's very individualized. So,
Right. Yeah, there's a
uh,
broad spectrum, I mean, it's
yeah.
just not, you can't base it on numbers alone. So.
So getting transfused in New York, I was like every 3 to 4 weeks.
Hmm.
Uh, Sometimes 2 weeks if I just battled a fever. The hardest part, John, was post-splenectomy. I removed my spleen when I was 9 years old.
Hmm.
And sorry, she just wants to get on me. My spleen was like 6 pounds. And
Wow.
post-splenectomy, it was the hardest for my mother as well. I was constantly in the hospital with raging fevers of 105. Doctors had to submerge me in a bathtub filled with ice. And the image that's ingrained in my mind is my mom holding her Bible, sitting on those metal folding chairs, just praying over me as I'm in a bathtub of ice. I mean, that's
Mm.
like a
Right.
hard
So,
image.
so it was really tough on your parents when you were going through all this.
Yeah, because their English was their second language, not their first
Hmm.
language, and it was constantly confusing how to navigate the healthcare system. And thank goodness at New York Hospital at that time, 50% of the patients were Greek, so the other moms helped with my mom, just translate everything. And they were amazing. And back then there was such a support system for parents and for patients, because you were either Greek
Hmm.
or Italian. We had a few Lebanese, a
Right.
few Persians. Um,
Hmm.
but for my mom, especially leaving my other two siblings home and her having to be with me every single day in the hospital. And this was every 8 weeks, 103, 104, 105 fever, until about 14 years old, where my body kind of found its way and adapted in not having a spleen,
Hmm.
because that's the organ that fights bacterias, right?
Right. Right.
So,
So yeah. So you've been
yeah,
getting transfused like every 4 weeks predominantly, or
three to
like
four
how
weeks,
often? 3 to 4
three to
weeks?
four weeks. Yeah. And
Okay.
then at 9 years old, I went on, no, was it 9 or 11? 11, I started Desferal. I don't know why so
Mhm.
late. Like, I wish I got it
That's
earlier.
kind of me too. I think that's what happened with me. I was like 8 or 9 years old when I
So at
started Desperate.
11, I also had a gallbladder attack because my liver was so enlarged that
Wow.
it engulfed my gallbladder. And, these surgeries back then were not easy. I ended up with
No.
pneumonia, and my mom has heard a handful of times, we don't think Maria's going to make it.
Hmm.
So that's harsh, and
Right.
she's very faithful Greek Orthodox Christian, goes to church on Sunday, prays every single night, and her prayers work. Her prayers work. It's she never let go. She never stopped.
Good,
And
good.
I grew up watching her pray, and that's why I have in me, ingrained in me, Jesus Christ, and I have so much faith. And
Hmm.
every step I take, when you get older, thalassemia is a little bit harder, right? It's not
Right.
just transfused. We have so many adults issues, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
So after childhood, like when you transitioned to adult care, what was that like for you?
And so, um, I kind of spearheaded that, and I
Hmm.
sometimes
Oh
regret
yeah.
it. Yeah, in my clinic, because I was like so sick and tired of walking into clinic and listening to SpongeBob. But when I became a mom, I appreciated SpongeBob so much because the writing is so clever.
Right.
And I love SpongeBob now that I'm a
Hmm.
mom, but back then I just wanted to get my blood and take a nap. And all I heard was that SpongeBob and,
Yeah.
you know, kids running around, and it's like,
Hmm.
oh my God, no, I need my own space. And I kind of I did not think, I thought it was going to be adults in the same situation
Hmm.
that we were in peds, where it was a rotunda and
Hmm.
beautiful glass windows everywhere, overlooking the East River, and it was just gorgeous. And then we end up in oncology in these tiny little pods, and it's like, what the, oh my
Right.
God,
Yeah, it was a lot harder as an adult for me, I think,
what I do,
transitioning. Yeah.
what I do. And we were all separated. That's the thing,
Hmm.
like all the adults that we grew up together, and we were like became brothers and sisters, right?
Right. Hmm.
We all got separated, and it's like my friend Carol was all the way down there, and it was
Hmm.
so sad. And my
Yeah.
friend Joanne was in the other room, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh. And
Right.
so yeah, that's when a lot of the adults said, all right, guess what? I live in New Jersey. I'm going to make my life easy and stay in New Jersey and get transfused in New Jersey.
Right.
In Long Island, I'm going to do. And now it's like, well, with the recent event that happened, I left. I'm no longer
Right.
there as well.
Okay.
So yeah. So
All right. So,
adult the transition was okay.
okay. And
Okay,
then, so you work as a realtor, correct?
yes, yes.
Okay. And
And then I do
how,
consulting for some of the pharmaceutical
oh,
companies.
okay.
Yeah.
So, so what's it like working, with thalassemia as an adult?
Well, I just need to say one thing, that corporate America sucks big time. And I think it's the same thing. I was speaking with someone in Singapore, and they said, oh, corporate Singapore sucks as well. And then my friend from the UK chimed in, oh, corporate UK sucks as well. I think it's uh they need to be more empathetic with people that have rare diseases. Like, you get 14 to 21 vacation days, right? Depending how long you were there.
Hmm.
And uh I have to use a vacation day to go get my transfusion. Well, I'm not with a cocktail on the beach. That's a vacation.
Right. Yeah.
Cocktail on the beach. Not in the
Yeah.
hospital getting
I could
transfused,
I could
right?
totally relate. A lot of, yeah, I have to plan extra days off, take vacation days to do all this stuff. I mean, it's not luxury.
So yeah, so I
And
think they should just be understanding and just give us the day to go get transfused, and for us not to use it as a personal day or vacation day. That's
Mhm.
it. Because we're going to come
Right.
back and we're going to be stronger, and we're going to have the energy. And yeah,
Right. It's
I am not a fan of corporate America. I think
right.
corporate America really pounds you and beats you. You know,
Hmm.
when you're healthy, it's okay, but when you're not healthy and you need that extra
Right.
time to keep strong,
Right. Well, the sad part about it is there's healthy people that we can work circles around. That's the sad part about it. You have
Yeah,
healthy people calling in sick for minor
yeah,
things, and then you're
yeah,
here
yeah,
dragging yourself to work, you know, performing at a high level, while other
yeah,
people are just kind of, it's kind of funny now. It used to
yeah.
bother me, but now it's like, okay, whatever, but yeah. So do you find it harder now that you're older with thalassemia when you're working, like your energy levels and things like that?
Oh yeah, especially because I have osteoporosis, right? So
Yeah.
it's not about thalassemia anymore, getting transfused. It's about
Right. It's all the other stuff too.
that is a major barrier in my
Hmm.
life.
Right.
It's 2 years ago I fractured my fibula, and now it's like hurting me a lot. So I have it in a compression cast, and it's a true barrier. It's a true barrier. And I mean, I'm not the one that eats the junk food. John, you know me, right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
am like, my supplements are about $700 a month. That's my investment.
Wow.
I work out, I do weight training. I go to
Hmm.
this other therapy for bones called OsteoStrong, which is $3,000
Hmm.
a year. So there's
So yeah,
so
you're investing in your health big time.
that's what it is. When people say,
Hmm.
"Oh, I can't afford it," I am far from, being rich. We have choices in life. This is what I tell people. We have choices in life, right?
Hmm.
I don't go get manis and pedis. First of all, it's toxic. Manicures and pedicures are toxic. Do I want more chemicals on me? No, I don't. The
Right.
skin is the largest organ. Why should I go ahead and put chemicals on my skin?
Right.
So we have choices in life. I don't care about having a $7 matcha Starbucks drink when, here Starbucks uses chemicals in their coffee. It's the worst coffee
Hmm.
anyway. So we have choices in life. And for
Hmm.
me, is getting the organic pasture raised eggs, the grass fed organic meats, the wild salmon from Alaska. I am so it's like beyond a full-time job. Sitting
Right.
there reading the ingredients of the label, saying, nope, this has seed oils. I don't want it.
Hmm.
And it's just everything has to be organic. I
Hmm.
try to deal directly with straight from farmers. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, my supplements, I'm on 3 different
Right.
types of magnesiums. I take milk thistle, and it's just my life. That's how I am.
Right. Well,
If I have the
mhm.
knowledge, then I'm going to be really diligent about it.
That's good. That's really inspiring. I'm glad you take really good care of yourself.
Oh, thank you, John.
Yeah, I wish more people did, with thalassemia.
I
But
remember when we were in peds,
hmm.
the pediatric center, and all my friends used to come in, my adult friends, and they used to eat 2, 3 hot dogs and a can of soda, drink a can of soda.
Hmm.
I would want to vomit.
All right. I'm not perfect by any means, but I think I live a relatively healthy lifestyle. But so some other question. Do you have a daughter? And
Yes,
how old is she now?
she's now 16.
16. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me what it's like to be a mom, with your transfusion, the dealing with the thalassemia, and in raising a teenage daughter.
The one way that I could describe this, right, is
Hmm.
gratitude. I am so grateful that I have the opportunity to be a mom, that even the tantrums, I welcome them. I love the
Right.
tantrums. I miss them. I
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when my friend moms would like complain and bitch about tantrums, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I have the opportunity to go through tantrum period,
Right.
tantrum. I love it. And they would
Right.
look at me like, I said, all right, you're grateful for the things that you never thought you could have. I never thought I could be a mom, right?
Right.
So,
And yeah,
teenage
it's good.
years, it's, challenging. She keeps me on my
Yeah,
toes, but she's grateful. She's grateful
mhm.
for everything that I
I'm
do.
sure she is.
And we go to church together and
Hmm.
we pray at night. And she's not a demanding teenager. She's not spoiled. She
Hmm.
knows, my mom works incredibly hard. And She's really such an elegant young lady. She's got kindness, she's happy, and she's got respect.
Good.
So, yeah, it gets exhausting, you know.
Hmm.
It's I can't believe Tuesday I have to go for my typing course. It's like already
Right. It comes fast. It comes fast.
it comes so fast. Sometimes I think it's 1 week, not 2 weeks. So yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
you're doing the GT, and I'm so happy because you're a blazer, right? Trail.
Yeah, Trailblazer. I guess so.
Okay. Um, and I won't, though I have my reservations about
Hmm.
it.
It's understandable.
Yeah, yeah. And
Hmm.
but I'm looking at you. All eyes
Hmm.
on you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just, it's just a personal thing for me. And I mean,
Yeah,
I'll elaborate on that later. But
yeah, but something's got to give. Something's got to give,
right.
and we've got a few drugs around the corner. So
Right.
2025 is looking really, really good for us, right?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this is the much needed break the adult patients need.
Hmm.
Um, because I'm not the only one. If it's not osteoporosis, there's patients that have pulmonary hypertension, there's patients that have diabetes. So we
Right.
need a break
And
from something.
right. And here's the thing, even my transplant specialist and some other people I've heard other patients say their doctors are like, "Oh, you're doing so well. Why would you, you
Yeah.
sure you really want to do this?" I was like, "Well, yeah." I mean, decades of going through this, dealing with all these things,
Yeah.
I don't think people can really appreciate what we go through as patients.
They can't even grasp
Hmm.
what it is, and they think it's just blood transfusions, and that's it. Little
Right.
do they know it, like they totally forget that it's iron chelation as well, right? So we have iron
Mm.
overload in our liver, in our pancreas, in our heart.
Right.
So I'm on thank God combination therapy of Feraprox and Desferol
Well, good.
since 2002, and that has kept me very, very healthy, my heart and my liver.
Good.
Um, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Right. Yeah, I have so many discussions we can have about things, but I just want to ask you another thing. Like as you approach retirement, I mean, it's still a little ways away, I guess, but as you approach that, what are your feelings as far as getting health care, insurance, you know, having
Um,
money, things like that? How do you feel
it's
as a thalassemia
worrisome.
patient?
It's worrisome. Of
Hmm.
course, it's worrisome, because
Hmm.
I think people with rare diseases, not just having polycythemia, but I speak to patients with sickle cell disease, and you know,
Hmm.
I I was part of Global Genes, which is a huge NGO for genetic rare diseases, and I got the opportunity to listen to other patients with genetic rare diseases, and we're not alone in this, right? But
Right.
there's a lot of patients out there that are worried about their old age, retirement
Uh,
age, having financially
yeah.
themselves,
Yeah,
and
that was a big thing for me. I mean, I want to be free, when I'm older.
yeah,
I'm kind of nervous about it.
yeah,
I'm going to be
yeah,
going with my walker to get transfused. I mean, I'm not going to have all these comorbidities. I just, there's a lot to think about. But
yeah.
so, if there was one thing you could change about thalassemia care in the United States, what would it be?
The arrogance that some doctors have,
Hmm.
right? And we mentioned it before, like I'm hearing more doctors not wanting to transfuse their patients. And
Hmm.
meanwhile, we've got 40 years of studies and published papers on the higher you have your patient, the healthier they are.
Right.
And um, it's ego, it's arrogance, it's elitism as well.
Right. That's
You know,
exactly how I feel about all that.
it's like I don't know. Like, what the hell is going on? You took an oath, right?
Right.
And
Yeah, their egos get in the way, and I mean, they're just not. Why would you not follow guidelines? They're made by professionals, and people who know what they're doing, you know? And so
Yeah.
I made a whole video about that, you know?
So I always go back and tell doctors, oh, can you function on a 10 hemoglobin or 9 hemoglobin?
Right,
You can't. So why do you want me to function on that? Right.
right,
And then they're like, oh, but the guidelines is 10 to 10.5. But when I'm telling you, listen to the patient, when I'm telling you, hold on one second. I'm sorry.
it's okay.
When I'm telling you that under 10.8, I'm in pain, then keep me on a higher hemoglobin.
Right,
And why should you expect me to live life with pain? Like it's
right.
quality of life, right?
Hmm.
So you're okay in living your quality of life, but you don't want me to do that. So it's elitism, it's um,
Right,
egoism. Just if I could change that in America, it's like become more empathetic, doctors. Listen to your patients, listen to our pain, you know?
right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's if I could change something, it's the healthcare system. It's
Hmm.
doctors as well. And we do have some great, I mean, if you were on the webinar that I was part of last 2 weeks ago,
Hmm.
the Coates from Children's Hospital of Los Angeles said that if I have a patient that also has osteoporosis, I'm keeping them above 11. I'm like, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Why would you want to keep that patient on a 10? What are you getting out of it?
Right. Yeah, they're not getting anything out of it. I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't.
So
I mean, unless you have like severe iron overload and they're watching your blood intake. I mean, I can understand that, but that's not why these guys
that's,
are doing
oh,
it.
no, no, no. That's not why
Right.
they're choosing not to transfuse us.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I totally agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
But all right, well, let's do a part two here soon. And I'm gonna interview some other people too. But
Mhm.
awesome. I mean, I'd
I'm
love getting
really
your
happy for
input on
you,
all this stuff.
though. I'm really happy we're watching. And
Mhm.
I pray that one day gene therapy and gene editing, you don't have to go through the Busulfan. Um,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
know that's
harsh thing for me.
I'm scared, it scares the heck out of me. However, I mean, there's people that are really sick that get this too. I mean, that's
I know.
kind of
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
so like my that's how my transplant specialist, he's like, we do this every day. He goes, there's people a lot sicker than you that get this. And I'm like, you know what? I mean, to me personally, it's worth the risk, I mean, I could live like this, but I choose not to if I can, you
Yeah.
know, there's
Yeah.
no guarantee,
And
but
your boys are younger. Your boys are how old?
they're 16 and 13.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're on board though. Everybody's cool with it.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
mean, look at all
so
the great results we've seen with the kids, right?
right,
Amazing. And they're
right.
on hemoglobins of 12, 13, 14. So that's wonderful.
Right. And I met all the criteria. So I mean, if there were like questions, I'd be like, well, maybe it's not a good idea. But I checked all the boxes, so I was, I mean, I'm still gonna go for it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Of
But I just
course.
wanted to give back, and I want to interview some more people, and I
Okay.
think we need to get some awareness out for us older patients because I think we're being a little left out of some things. So,
Yeah, yeah, I know. We feel like we're in the back burner, right?
right. I mean, the younger people do deserve a lot of attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't forget about us either,
No, no, exactly.
But
Uh,
we could teach the younger people a lot too,
yeah.
what we went through and how to deal with certain things.
Oh,
So,
they can't even imagine what it is. You started on Desferal, right? And you
oh
had to
yeah.
use your Desferal, and your Desferal was like a freaking battery
Oh,
operated.
I started on intramuscular injections in the thigh,
Holy
before
shit.
they started doing sub-Q.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was horrible.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
remember the D battery pumps?
Yeah, yeah. But I remember when Jada came out, I felt like my whole life was forever changed. I still feel like that. I'm so grateful for
Yeah.
the oral chelators.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do Destrel 3 nights a week, and it's a little balloon pump and
hmm
disposable. I don't even
right,
mix it.
right. I
And
used
that's
to do that too.
it
Yeah,
for me. It's like I can't mix it anymore.
yeah,
When I became a mom, it's like I don't want needles in the house,
right,
except the needle that I stick myself with in the stomach. But yeah, it's getting Theraprox, that's been a game changer. And there's times when my insurance wouldn't cover Destrol, so I only had Theraprox
really.
till my insurance started
Hmm.
covering Destrol again. So um, it's wonderful. The more options we have, the better it is for us because there are patients that can't do Jade New or X-Jade or Destrol or Theraprox, and there's allergic
Right,
reaction and kidney issues with some of the iron
right.
chelators. So
Yeah, and that bothers
more
me too.
options,
With the
the
jade and
best.
yeah, yeah. I know it's good to be. It'd be great if I was on no chelators.
I know.
It's like, because this stuff does, affect your body. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, think of some more topics, and we'll get together again, talk about it, and I'll, share that with other people too.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, John.
All right, thanks, Maria. I appreciate it. All right,
Take
take
care. Have
care.
a great night.
You too. Bye.